Hi everyone, and welcome to match 2, game 5 and game 6. And we're at post-Crawford, right? Which means that there's going to be an automatic double. And depending on the score, whether it's even or odd, the score of the trailer, the leader will take or pass. So important, right, to note that if the trailer is at an odd score, then the leader will generally pass, especially if the opponent gets the first roll. Okay, and the leader doesn't respond with a pretty strong roll in return. And basically, the leader wants the score of the trailer to be at an even score, so that they're trying to get to an odd number to win, and so this prevents the trailer from efficiently getting to that odd number result, right? Okay, so just keep in mind, right, in post-Crawford, if you're ahead, you want to get to your opponent to be at an even score. So anyways, let's watch. Game 6 is interesting from the point of view of how to sort of maximize your gammon chances as the trailer. And in some cases, as a leader, you do want to play a little more conservatively, but sometimes you don't have much choice, right, as we'll see. So enjoy the match and leave some comments if anything comes to mind. Thanks. Okay, let's start with game 5, the short one. So the score is 6-1 post-Crawford, and Black, the trailer, gets the first roll, 4-3, and doesn't really matter what he plays, in fact, because unless White rolls really well, which he doesn't, he rolls a 5-2, Black doubles and White is correct to pass. Okay. So again, it's all about the post-Crawford score, right? If the trailer is at an odd score, then the leader wants to put the trailer at an even score. Yeah, he doesn't want a doubled gammon, for example, to bring him 2 away or even winning the match. Okay, so it creates a little inefficiency in the score, as it were. Okay, so quick little game there. And now the score is 6-2. And Black gets the first roll again, 5-1. And here, Black can just slot on the 5-point, right? Black wants a complicated game, and Black would still like to get a gammon, if possible. And this slotting move allows for more priming chances and therefore a more gammonish game. Okay, but according to XG, just playing like Black plays with just playing from the back a little as well, sort of a more balanced game. That's also fine here. Okay. White gets the same roll and plays the same move. And so this is interesting. At this score, when the trailer is on an even score, some sort of expert players, they will delay the double. You might have seen this or noticed this. And the idea is they want to try to get their opponent to make a mistake later, so that if they do get into a commanding position, maybe they can convince the leader to actually pass the cube, which is almost always a big mistake. And of course, there are possibilities when the leader is just like in a very dangerous situation. But it's quite rare for white to pass any kind of double at this score, and then get back onto basically an odd score, right, for the trailer, and then you know, maybe having to pass the double again, and so it just doesn't make sense. So it would be a mistake for the leader, in this case white, to pass a cube. But some people might be convinced to, so they play on, and they don't. The trailer doesn't double immediately. But for less than expert players, it's better just to immediately do the double, the automatic double. It's never wrong, and you avoid missing a double later. You know, just getting into the swing of things and forgetting to throw the cube over. So it's better just to immediately double at this score, just post-Crawford, right? That is if you're not an expert player. Okay, so white takes, of course, and black comes out with a double six, okay, and immediately takes the advantage. It's interesting that you would think, right, that going for more gammons by hitting two checkers would be the best play here. But it's true that there are slightly more gammons, okay, but it does sort of compromise black's positional advantage here, and in the long term leads to fewer wins, and you do want to win more, right? White can hit back on the one. White can, you know, make an advanced anchor on the 3 or 4 or 5 point, and black still has a lot of work to get those back checkers around. So black correctly just makes the bar point and hits one of the checkers. Okay. White comes in and has to jump out. Notice it's not too far off to hit with the 6 here and try to aim for that anchor. White, you know, generally speaking, at post-Crawford scores, the leader really does like to get an advanced anchor. And so this move, of course, you know, it's a little risky because, you know, getting another checker hit. What about double twos or things like that, right? But while possible, it does look like just running out is best here. Notice staying back gives black lots of kind of pointing numbers, especially with these spares. Black would like to use these spares to hit. And again, we have the stripped midpoint, right? So that's another reason to come out. And then finally, we talked about this idea of jumping out to the midfield and just trying to control some of the midfield in case, you know, black would dearly like to start getting these checkers moving, right? And so you have coverage here if you jump by jumping out. So even though, you know, it's not too far off, this is the best move. It does look like, hey, it's a running move, and white is really far behind in the race, but, you know, control the outfield and these other factors that I mentioned are worth considering, yeah? And keep in mind that black's structure is a bit compromised with this deep point here. And so priming is probably not going to be very easy on black's part, but white, on the other hand, still has possibilities of completing a prime. So, yeah, even though he's behind in the race, there's definitely potential for white to turn this game around. So he jumps out. And there we are, the predicted double twos. And black correctly makes the points, and all of a sudden his home board is looking very threatening. Starting to look quite gammonish. If you look here, right, we've got almost 35% gammons for black here, which is quite a dangerous situation for white. Okay, and white rolls a 6-5 and takes the opportunity to run. Okay, again, even though he's behind in the race, he doesn't want to stay back, and there's just too much danger, right, for trying to sit back and try to wait. So running is the best option here. Black misses, but also makes a mistake. And it's kind of understandable. Black looks at the race and thinks, aha, I've got to run. But of course, this is post-Crawford, okay? And so the match score is quite important. Black's home board is so strong that Black wants to encourage contact, even though he's ahead in the race. He wants to maximize contact to try to get shots and put white on the bar against the 4-point home board. And so this move fits in with the racing strategy, but it doesn't fit in with the match strategy, right? Which is that Black would like to hit a shot and possibly get a gammon, okay? And this particular move of bringing both checkers up is not the best one. Of course, you do have to bring one checker up, but then XG suggests just slotting the 3-point, getting ready to make a 5-point home board. Well, this is a bit of an uncomfortable roll, but white does the best he can do just by hitting. Okay, it is possible, by the looks of it, to also hit on the 5-point to try to build your own board. There's going to be 2 blots in any case. In this case, white does, make it indirect shots as opposed to direct shots, but doesn't seem to be a huge difference here. And black comes in and hits, and now we're already up at around over 50% gammon, so white is in some trouble. Okay. However, black doesn't hit the correct checker. Okay, according to XG, it's better to hit the outside checker. This again squares with the theme of maximizing contact. Okay, it does look a little strange, I agree, because after the hit, black has a double shot at white's remaining blot. But there are a couple other factors. One is maximizing contact by staying back, and the second is outfield control, right? By hitting on the 14-point, in case white comes in and jumps out, then black has better coverage of the outfield to hit. Okay, and yeah. Black doesn't want to race here. Okay. Black wants contact, and keep in mind that white's position is fairly inflexible, so he could be coughing up some more blots in the near future. Okay, but by playing this move, black gives white the possibility of swinging some checkers behind, right? Behind the black checkers. Okay, so white can't enter, and white is definitely in trouble here, and wham, double 4s. Black misplays it a little. It's not a huge mistake, but generally you want to bring in some more builders for that 3-point or hitting on the 1-point. And so black should put one of the checkers on the 5-point, one of the checkers on the 4-point, and get ready for white to enter, and so that black can hit again. Of course, yeah, it's a bit loose, but you know, there's very little risk with white's home board being virtually, non-existent, right? And miracle of miracles, double threes. Can white turn this game around? It's still white is very much the underdog, but there's possibilities of a prime now, and of course now that white has rolled double threes, it does look like black's blocking structure is quite useful the way he played the last move, but of course black couldn't predict the double threes, right? Okay, so white enters and hits, yeah, and black comes in and jumps out correctly, and white misses, just brings down 2 checkers. Okay, thanks to the anchor, the gammon chances are way down, but as you can see, black is still really far ahead in the race, yeah. Okay, this is a bit interesting. Black basically seems like a natural move, right? Just to play to the 6-point. But look at this move that XG suggests on plus analysis, no less. Black wants to entice white to hit. Again, it's all based on this idea that black would dearly love a gammon. White's home board isn't so strong, okay? And notice hitting and with a 6 after this move and making the prime with a 6, or that's duplicated, okay? So very interesting kind of trappy move, right? Trying to entice white to hit when the boards are still very much unbalanced in strength. Very interesting to keep in mind, but quite an advanced play, you have to admit, right? It seems a little too much like black can just bring the game home, right? Why take the risk? But remember, even if black wins this game, he's got to win, maybe 2 more games, right? So this trap could lead to a gammon if white does decide to hit with something other than double 6s, of course. So very interesting. Speaking of double 6s, if black had played that move, things could have gone very differently in this game. So yeah, one can't predict the dice, I guess, but here we are. But black still has white blocked. But the race, at least, is a little closer, but still black is way out ahead, right? So should be able to bring this home even now. Yeah, this is a bit, it's okay. Going to the 6-point, it's the safest play, right? It seems, but it's also the most inflexible play, isn't it? And you have to be careful about inflexibility coming in, right, against an anchor, right? So yes, it seems like black should be able to just bring this game home, but with inflexibility, there's certain rolls that could get you into trouble here. And so XG does recommend that black clear the 9-point and leave the shot. Again, white would have to leave his anchor to hit. The home boards, black still has the advantage in home board strength. White's home board isn't very threatening. The structure is not ideal. So black is willing to take the chance in the interest of flexibility, yeah? Putting that spare checker on the 8 point. Instead of having 2 stripped points in the outfield against an anchor. So interesting again. I guess the lesson from this is post-Crawford, right? You're not so worried, right, about necessarily being hit. You're really looking to increase gammon chances, okay? And notice that the gammon chances do go up after this move, right? So just playing safely, we have 2.5% gammon chances, okay? And then we basically double the gammon chances by playing XG's recommended move. So at this score, post-Crawford, that's one of the key considerations is you do want to win a doubled gammon, okay? Because you know, it's harder to win games. It's hard to win a number of games in a row in backgammon. And doubled gammons can get you to the finish line much closer, much faster. Yeah. Okay. So white slots the 4 points, and black clears one of the points successfully. Okay, and white has a better home board now thanks to the making of the 4 point. But black is unable to clear the 8 point. But luckily, he with the 5s, there's plenty of spares for 5s at least. Okay. White slots his last remaining points. Now this is kind of interesting too, because I know that there are some players, they hesitate to play this kind of move because they think, oh, I might get a shot next turn. And if I hit it, I might have these blots in my home board. Well, yes, but first, the chances of getting a shot are not huge, okay? I guess 6-5 or 6-1, okay, are the only rolls really that give a shot, right? And then and so that, you know, unless black rolls those rolls, then that gives white a chance to strengthen his home board. And then the other consideration is even if black leaves a shot, there are, you know, rolls that hit and cover. Especially the 3 point, right? Notice the to cover the 3 point, 5s aren't duplicated, right? So yeah, don't be too afraid of this idea of slotting points if you think you're going to get a shot. You know, within reason, of course, but it's not something you should be afraid of too much. Yeah. Okay, again, black is unable to clear that 8 point. And here, yeah, probably it's best just to make the 3 point and bring in the 2 checkers. For some reason, white decided he wanted to save a 6 here, but it's not really necessary. There's not really a big difference in terms of gammon chances if black has to run out with with the anchor next turn. So just bringing in 2 checkers is best here, and more importantly, making the 3 point instead of making the 1 point. Yeah. Okay, black is finally able to clear the 8 point, and white correctly runs off the anchor. And it does look like black is going to bring this game home, but the gammon chances are quite small, right? So okay, 2 checkers off, and then you know, I suppose running basically from the back does make sure there's basically no gammons. But with white's strong home board, you know, a perfect home board, it is worth waiting just in case there's some kind of series of unfortunate rolls by black that ends up leaving a blot. So there's really no huge increase in gammon chances here. So white should stay back and see if anything, if black coughs up a shot, just in case. Okay, 5-4. Yeah, and black takes off one checker. And again, just bringing a checker in. Black isn't leaving any shots. And white is basically willing to wait one more turn, okay, even though he has to destroy his home board. Yeah, but it's close. Running is close at this point. And yeah, this is a bit of an uncomfortable roll for black. Okay, notice just taking a checker off is also playable here. Okay, but yeah, it's likely that white's going to have to run in any case. And run he does. What are the chances here? Well, almost 4% chance after this roll. So not very good. Depends on how many threes black rolls, I guess. But as it turns out, he doesn't roll really poorly and brings the game home. Okay. So there we are. First post-Crawford game, basically, right? After after that quick drop in game 5. And yeah, some interesting lessons here about black really making extra efforts to play for a gammon, to maximize contact, especially since he has such a strong board. He did have some rolls that at one point made it look like, gammons were, a 50-50 proposition, doubled gammon. But white, due to a miracle roll, double threes, was able to stave that off and live, basically he's got still a couple more games to win. But of course, if he had lost the doubled gammon, then we'd be at double match point. So let's see what happens in the next game. The score is 6-4, 1 away, 3 away. Yeah. And can black continue this comeback? So hope to see you for the next episode. Thanks for watching.